Okay, in this lesson we were looking at different ways of using the mean, and in particular in higher tier and grade B questions you will find instances where you're given the mean and you have to use that to kind of work backwards to find out a total before you can move forward with the problem. So these are quite challenging. So from the work that we've covered on averages, you know that we say that the mean is the total divided by the count, or we write it total over count. Now we can rearrange that to get the total on its own. The opposite of dividing would be multiplying. So rather than writing it as mean is total divided by count, we can write it as the total is the mean multiplied by the count. So if we're given a mean and we know how many people that mean represents, then by multiplying them together it'll give us a total. And as I've said there, if we can use that, if you can remember that fact, then there are other types of questions that you can access. So let's work through some of those. So three girls have a mean age of 15. Sheila joins the group and the mean age is now 16. How old is Sheila? So the first information that we're given there is that we've got three girls and their mean is 15. So there's enough information there to work out how old they would be in total, what their total age is. So for three girls, the total age will be the mean 15 times the count, which is 3. So 15 lots of 3, 45. So before Sheila comes along, the three girls had a total age of 45 years. Then Sheila comes along and that increases the mean. Now if Sheila comes along, there are no longer three girls because Sheila's with them. They got four girls. So for the four girls, the total is the mean, which is 16, times the count, which is 4, because there are 4 girls. So 16 lots of 4, 64. So before Sheila came along, their total age was 45. When Sheila was included, their total age went up to 64. So Sheila is the difference between those two total ages. Which is 19 years old. So we've used the given means to find some totals which enable us to access more of the question. Let's look at a slightly different version. Class A and Class B have 20 and 30 students respectively. Now respectively means the 20 goes with Class A and the 30 goes with Class B. The mean maths mark of Class A was 68 and the mean maths mark of Class B was 75. And what they want us to do here is find out the combined mean, the mean mark across the two classes. The most common wrong answer by far is to do average of that one plus average of that one divided by 2. That doesn't give you the mean across the two because there are different numbers of students in each. So first of all, we have to work out the total marks for Class A. So for Class A, the total is the mean Class A, 68, times the count, how many were in Class A, 20. So the total marks for Class A is 68 times 20, which is 1,360. Then we do the same for Class B. The total marks for Class B, the mean was 75, and there were 30 students in the class. So 75 lots of 30, 2,250. Now this time they want the mean mark across the two classes, so I'm combining the two classes. So the total mark for both classes will be the sum of those two. So we're going to do 1,360 plus 2,250, 3,610. So the mean for both classes mean mark across the two classes will be the total of the two classes, marks all added together, divided by the count of the two classes, which is how many students there are altogether, 50. So over the two classes, I've just copied that down wrong, it's 72.2. Not 72.7. Okay. Question 3. The mean age of 10 boys and 20 girls is 16. If the mean age of the boys is 17, what is the mean age of the girls? So this time they're giving us a combined average, and one of the averages of part of it. So rather than Class A and Class B, I've got boys and girls, and I need to work out the other one. So the mean age of 10 boys and 20 girls is 16. So the total age of the boys and girls is going to be the mean, which is 16, times the count. The boys and girls together will be 30. So 16 lots of 30 is 480. So with the boys and girls combined, their total age is 480. The total age of the boys well, I know there are 10 of them, and their mean age is 17. So their total age is going to be 170. So now I can work out what the total age of the girls is. I know that boys and girls combined is that, boys is that, so total age of girls will be 480, all of them, less the boys, 310. Now this time it's not asking what the total age of the girls is, I want the mean age of the girls. Well, that will be their total age, 310, divided by how many girls have we got? 20. So the mean age of the girls is 15.5. So hopefully you see, as we're working through these now, a pattern developing. Yeah, we're working with totals by multiplying the mean by however many the count comes to. Slightly different version in number 4. Write down 5 numbers so that the median is 8, the mode is 8, the range is 8, and the mean is 5.8. So here are my 5 numbers, and I need to use each of these facts in order to determine what I'm going to put there. So let's start. That's usually a pretty good one to start with. The median being 8, median, median, middle, middle, 8. So long as I have these in order, that one has to be 8. So dealt with that. The mode is 8. That means there needs to be more 8s than anything else. So I'll stick in another 8. And the range is 5. Sorry, the range is 8. So the biggest number, take away the smallest number, has to be 8. So I've got a choice here. I could say that that's 8 and that's 0, that's 9, that's 1, that's 10, that's 2 possibly. Let's go for 9 and 1. So if I go for 9 and 1, that's got a range of 8. Which leaves me one number that I don't know and one fact that I haven't used. But because I know there are 5 cards and I know their mean, that tells me that I can work out what their total is, what they should add up to. So the total is the mean multiplied by the count. 5 cards tells you there. So if I do 5.8 times 5, I get 29. So these cards have to add up to 29. So far they add up to 10, 26. So because they add up to 26 so far, that means that that one must be 3, because then they'll add up to 29. If I'd have chosen 8 and 0 there, then they would have added up to a different total and there would have been a different number there. So that question, you could have got a different combination of cards so long as the range was 8, the median was 8, the mode was 8, and they added up to 29. And the final example. In April, the mean rainfall in Tenby was 65 millimetres. During the first 7 days, the mean rainfall was 120 millimetres. Calculate the mean rainfall for the rest of the month. What do these values tell you about the weather pattern in Tenby in April? Well, the first thing you need to know is that April has 30 days. During the first 7 days, the mean was 120. So I can work out how much rainfall fell in total in those first 7 days. By doing the mean, which was 120, times the count, which is 7. So 840 millimetres fell in those first 7 days. Now we know over the whole month the mean rainfall was 65 millimetres. Same thing again, the mean 65, count 30. 1,950. So I know that throughout all of April 1,950 millimeters of rain fell, and in the first 7 days 840 millimeters fell. So if I take those two away, it's going to tell me how much rain fell over the remaining 20 days of the month. So if I write, so over the rest of the month, (950 less 840 equals 1,110 millimeters fell. So we know April's got 30 days. In the first 7 days, 840 millimeters of rain fell. Over April altogether, 1,950 millimeters fell. So take off that first month, that first week, that's what fell. So the mean for the rest of the month will be the total divided by the count. Well, there's 30 days in April altogether. Take off the first 7 days, and the remaining 23 days will be 48.2 millimeters. Sorry, 48.3. Coming off the light, 48.3 millimeters. So what does that tell us about the weather pattern in Tenby in April? Well, the first 7 days had a mean rainfall of 120 millimeters. The rest of the month it was only 48. So it's telling me that the first week was very, very wet compared to the rest of the month, because it had a much higher rainfall, more than twice the rainfall than over the rest of the month. So these values tell me that the first week in April was very wet in Tenby compared to the rest of the month. So April's got 30 days, you need to know that. In the first 7 days you can work out the total rain. You can work out the total rainfall across all of April, and then by taking them away it tells you how much rain fell in the rest of the month. The rest of the month is 23 days because 7 days have already gone and it's a 30-day month. So you can work out the average rainfall over the rest of the month. The average rainfall of the rest of the month is much less, half as much rain on average than in that first week, which had 65. So it's telling us that we had a really wet first month.